Do you believe in reviews of Rumpelstiltskin adaptations? I'm not sure if I do, but on the internet, they tell the tale of Phelous, the idiot who made this video you are currently watching. I wanted to return to the land of purple Pat Morita going around the world, but I wasn't sure which story we should travel to next. So after a vote on Patreon, we knew the name of the tale we had to investigate with Pat Morita next, and that was none other than Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin is the cautionary tale that if you want to keep your name a secret, you probably shouldn't sing about what it is in the woods. These Britannica adaptations of tales are always pretty interesting, but man, we got some extremely ugly art styles going on in this one. Anyway, let's watch Pat Morita float in, because that's always amusing.
Do you believe in secrets?
I wouldn't know anything about secrets, Pat. What's a secret? I don't know. I do always love how Pat Morita's asking if we believe in things at the beginning of these. So just like those Beyond Belief ones, here's a supercut of Pat Morita asking us things.
Do you believe in curses? Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in witches? Do you believe in secrets? Do you believe in true love? Do you believe in love at first sight?
I kind of feel like they cheated a bit on those last ones. Do you believe in true love and do you believe in love at first sight? I don't believe it.
Well, to tell you the truth, neither do I. Deep, dark secrets that nobody knows.
Was Rumpelstiltskin's name really a deep, dark secret? Though, I mean, I suppose if Rumpelstiltskin was my name, I'd keep it a secret.
In Germany, people tell the story of a strange little man who thought that as long as nobody knew his secret, he could cause all kinds of trouble.
This is the story of Smallville and the super gaslighter Clark Kent, who could have saved himself a nemesis if he was just honest. It's true, isn't it?
It all started with a miller who was very proud. He spent most of his time boasting.
Ah, great. So another story where a parent gets their child in trouble. They really liked this theme way back when, didn't they?
He boasted about his beautiful daughter.
That's not her, right? Why is the boasty father like some kind of golem or something? I guess they're going for like a stained glass type of look on this one.
She's so clever, she can spin straw into gold.
This guy doesn't care. He died over 20 years ago.
No, she can't.
Okay, Mr. No She Can't is the best.
Oh, yes, she can spin straw like horses eat, into pure gold.
You know, that's why I'm so rich with my endless gold supply. It's almost like this blatant lie is easy to disprove or something.
Well, the royal servant knew how much the king loved gold.
Yeah, imagine someone who likes wealth. That's unusual.
I'll teach the miller not to lie, especially not lies about gold.
I must defend gold's honor.
Prepare a tower cell with a spinning wheel and a bale of straw, and bring the miller's daughter to me.
It's her fault her father said dumb shit.
Your father says you know how to spin straw into gold. Well, spin this straw into gold by sunrise, or I'll send your father to prison.
Mr. Kingy Poo, do we really need to do this? We can probably just send my pops to prison right now.
Nobody can spin straw into gold.
I can.
It's quite an accomplishment, I guess, that in a sea of ugly, their Rumpelstiltskin design still manages to stick out. So Rumpelstiltskin agrees to gold up the straw for, unnamed woman? Really? In exchange for her bracelet, so really that is quite a deal.
Oh, you can do it!
Well, as it turns out, all that glitters is not gold, because I don't know what the hell that is.
Thank you so much.
I am glad to help.
And she'll be glad to betray you. Kinda.
I didn't know it could be done. Well, how did you... Oh. Goodbye.
If you're gonna duck out from the party early, you could have at least said peace out, Rumpelstiltskin.
The king arrived expecting to find the miller's crying daughter, but instead...
They found her sleeping on the most uncomfortable thing in the room.
I must test it again.
Yeah, she must have just ordered this batch of gold off eBay.
Spin this straw into gold by morning, or else.
Once again, Rumpelstiltskin shows up offering his extreme bargains on gold, this time just requesting a ring for payment. You'd think instead of asking for more gold, though, she'd just ask Rumpelstiltskin for a way out of here, because it kinda seems like this king is an untrustworthy prick. You'd tell me if this branch sticking out of my hat looks stupid, right? Rumpelstiltskin had seen some shit in his day.
Thank you so much. You're a very kind man.
Please, think nothing of it. I am glad to help you.
You know, if the king wasn't such an ass and kept doing this, Rumpelstiltskin would just be this extremely helpful person who stopped an innocent woman from being unfairly punished due to the drunken BS of her father and the corrupt king.
He loved the gold so much
That he decided to marry it. The end.
he decided not to set the miller's daughter free until she had made him the wealthiest king in the world.
And with the wealth, the king would create the roboticizer and become known as Robotnik. Well, I didn't see that twist coming.
This time, he brought enough straw to fill the entire chamber.
If you can spin this roomful of straw into gold, I will make you my queen. But if you don't, you will stay locked up in this room for the rest of your life.
Well, kinda hard to say which of those fates would be worse.
That kind little man won't find me again.
But I already found you.
Well, that's horrifying. Can you phase me out of here too?
What prize will you give me?
Whatever you want. Anything at all.
So, we know Rumpelstiltskin's third request is going to be on the slightly less than reasonable side, but she probably should have narrowed the payment down a bit instead of just saying he could have anything.
You can have anything you want.
Anything?
Yes.
Well, you said that extremely ominously. What could possibly go wrong?
Then it's a deal.
Ooh, can I get electricity in my mouth too? No.
Oh, you've done it.
You must give me your firstborn child.
Alright, I mean, I did promise you anything, and I really don't want to be a mother anyway. And thus everyone was happy. The end. Did anyone call for King Crap? Really though, what is that animation?
Incredible! I like it!
You like it? Man, tone it down a bit.
But I can hardly believe it. Your father wasn't lying.
I thought it was too stupid to be true. I guess the king just thought she was smuggling the gold up her butt the first 2 times.
And now you may become my wife.
Wow, trapped in a loveless marriage with some asshole who threatened to leave you to rot in a tower if you didn't magic up some gold. What a prize.
She forgot all about the little man and the prize he was to claim from her, even when she had her first child.
You'd think the magic man who saved your life from your evil husband by conjuring up some gold would be a bit more memorable.
Hello, I've come to collect my prize.
No, you can't mean it.
I know I said anything, but I didn't mean anything.
You have no power to break this promise. Your only hope is if you can guess my name.
Well, at least Rumpelstiltskin's still giving her a chance to get out of this, and it really doesn't seem like he has to. And really, she should probably consider what life her child would have with the horrible gold miser king. It's probably better off with Rumpelstiltskin. In fact, she should say, "Hell yeah! Can you take us both out of here?"
She began reading the books in the royal library, trying to find the name.
Copernicus? Da Vinci?
Ah yes, Rumpelstiltskin was the real Da Vinci Code. Wow, this baby is just a doll. Why am I trying so hard to keep this?
Hello.
Stupid surprise baby, am I right? It's that evil, pleasant man who saved my life, unlike my wonderful, murderous husband who gave me no choice in marrying him.
The next day, she tried to think of silly names that the little man might use.
Is your name Spiderlegs?
Spider legs, look out! Here comes the stupid name!
Please don't make me laugh.
Don't make me laugh.
Is it Jabberwocky or Eggs Benedict or Oompa Loompa?
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory didn't exist back then. I know it's a joke, but I'm dumb. Luckily, Deus Ex Helmet Hair shows up to let us know what He-Man with a mustache would look like in this weird art style.
Last night, I noticed a fire flickering off in the woods.
Soon I will win a baby from the queen, and I'll make it cook and clean.
You can probably just hire someone to do that for you with all the gold you can conjure up.
You'll guess and guess, but you lose this game, because Rumpelstiltskin is my name.
So, really, she just lucked out into finding what Rumpelstiltskin's name was. In some versions, the queen is more proactive in this part and follows Rumpelstiltskin herself to the forest or sends someone to tail him.
Why don't you guess? Come on.
Is your name Rumpelstiltskin?
What? That's not fair.
And now you made me ruin my branch hat, the biggest tragedy of them all.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
Did Rumpelstiltskin just get sent to hell? I guess Rumpelstiltskin shouldn't have saved her life. And seriously, how is this a happy ending for her? She's still married to the actual biggest monster in this story. So, the ending of Rumpelstiltskin varies with the version. In some, he simply runs away playing "How Could This Happen to Me?" after his big name reveal. In others, he does his super stomp and falls into a hole like he did here. And other variants has Rumpelstiltskin do the stomp, but he gets his foot stuck and then rips himself in half trying to pull his leg out from the ground. They don't build Rumpelstiltskins like they used to, I guess.
Here's a story from Norway. In it, there's a saint, a troll, and of course, a secret name.
So, Saint Olaf and the Troll is probably the most disturbing story in this bunch. However, it is the least ugly-looking segment out of the three.
Olaf was a Viking warrior who became a Christian. For his good deeds, he was made a saint.
Yeah, he's a real saint. That's what this story's about.
Olaf had in mind to build a really grand church. He thought.
Thanks for that insight, Olaf.
I wonder if a troll could build my church.
Who's gonna edit this video for me? A troll could do my editing. I'm sure they wouldn't troll me at all on it.
Olaf knew that there was an ugly troll living nearby, under a footbridge.
They put the troll under a bridge in this version because that's the most obvious thing they could have done. Apparently in the original story, the troll lived in burial mounds up on a place called Blood Heights. Guess they didn't want to do that in the cartoon version, but the horrible moral and murder at the end is cool.
Now it's well known that every troll loves a bargain. He promised that if the troll would build his church, he would give the troll the sun, the moon, and his own immortal soul. The troll quickly agreed.
Well, this is immediately on Olaf for making promises he can't keep.
Olaf was no fool. He planned to trick the troll into building the church and then destroy the monster.
What a saint. At least in Rumpelstiltskin, the deal was made for an unknown thing because the protagonist didn't want to be murdered by her future husband. Here, Olaf just started with ridiculous promises because he didn't want to go through regular channels to get a church built. There's something amazingly hypocritical about this guy fooling someone into building a church and planning to kill them so they don't have to pay what they promised.
Month by month, as Olaf watched, the troll built the church. Olaf couldn't think of any way to destroy the monster.
Yes, the guy doing the labor in the agreed upon deal is the monster, not the guy watching him doing it while plotting his death.
Olaf remembered that if you say a troll's name out loud, that troll will turn to stone.
Sweet, let's get stoned.
Olaf followed the troll back to his footbridge.
Olaf was also an espionage master.
Very soon, the troll's wife and baby came out of the cave.
Ah, so good King Olaf is also going to leave someone a widow and a child fatherless. That's our saint.
If you thought the troll was mean and ugly, you should have seen his wife. Her baby was even worse.
Oh, it's okay to kill someone and ruin their family if you deem them ugly.
Tomorrow we'll have 5 new gifts to play with. Your father says he'll bring home the sun, the moon, and King Olaf's immortal soul. If he doesn't, I'll get mad.
This is kind of weird because it's the only time during this story that it breaks from the narrator telling the whole thing. Guess he couldn't pull off a good troll wife voice.
You know how your father, Wind and Weather, hates to get me mad.
Wind and Weather. That was the name Olaf needed to hear.
Winds and Weather. Yeah, I think that is a bit of an even odder name than Rumpelstiltskin. I'm not really sure why they went with Winds and Weather being the troll's name. Originally, the troll in this story's name was Sig, and as far as I can tell, that name doesn't mean winds and weather or anything. It apparently means Victory Bear. They could have gone with Victory Bear. I mean, hell, I'm with Victory Bear.
Good morning, Wind and Weather. When the troll heard Olaf speak his name, he roared with fear and anger. The troll instantly turned to stone, tumbled from the high bell tower, and smashed to pieces on the ground.
Yay! Olaf murdered someone so he wouldn't have to pay for construction on a church.
As for the troll, well, St. Olaf was never one to waste good stone and built a stone marker pointing the way to the church.
Wow, how gruesome. Winds and Weather wasn't even allowed to rest in peace.
Or should I say, pieces.
That's what he deserves, though, for agreeing to do work for Olaf. And don't forget, he's a saint.
There's even a story from ancient Israel where King David of the Bible had to guess somebody's name in order to get out of trouble.
This is probably the oddest story out of the bunch, and I think it's the one they took the most liberties with. It's another story that seems to be rather obscure, too, at least in English.
And you might know that David became a king of ancient Israel during the days of the Bible. But you probably didn't know that Goliath had a younger brother. His name was Ishbi-Benob.
Okay, so there was an Ishbi-Benob, but he was a descendant of Goliath, not his younger brother. Goliath did have brothers mentioned in the Bible, but none of them were named Ishbi-Benob. However, there is apparently a Jewish fairy tale where they created the Ishbi-Benob, who is Goliath's brother. Well, that's not confusing.
One day, while hunting, King David chased a deer right into Ishbi-Benob's cave. Ishbi-Benob grabbed him and chained him up.
It's so much easier to get revenge when they just deliver themselves to you.
I'll get even with you for killing my brother.
What a weirdo.
Is there anything in the world that will make you let me go?
If you can tell me the name of God, then I'll let you go.
Now, as far as I can tell, this wasn't a part of the original versions of this story. Ishbi-Benob does not ask David for the name of God, but apparently the name is invoked to perform miracles of sorts.
I'll just have to throw you to my hungry lions.
Why are the lions a completely different animation style and drawn so cutesy? Aw, they're gonna eat him. That's adorable.
He looked outside and saw General Abishai with the army of Israel.
Why am I taking so long to feed David to my lions?
Then he threw King David up into the air, up into the clouds. The giant brought out his cage of lions, so that when David finally fell down from the sky, he would land right inside the cage.
Pretty sure that's overkill, because the fall alone at this point should do it. Now, originally in the story, Ishbi-Benob threw David up in the air and held his spear where he would land. I don't know why they changed it to lions, other than they wanted to draw these weird clashing lions.
Up in the sky, the clouds parted. God leaned forward and whispered his name to King David.
Oh, I always thought that's what it was.
Just as he started to fall to earth, David shouted to Ishbi-Benob, "I'll tell you the name of God."
It's winds and weather! That's 3 words. I'm not buying that as a name.
But I don't know what King David said.
Because we're not going that far. Now, in some versions, I guess it was David's sister, Abishai, who calls out God's name, and that's what saves him and suspends him in the air. Which was apparently David being suspended between heaven and earth, which is probably where eagles get their gossip from the future. Though another twist this Britannica version adds is David's legs apparently go on vacation. Maybe they're just giving a nod to the Rumpelstiltskin version where he rips himself in half.
When the giant heard the name of God, he knew he was beaten.
Shouldn't he have been happy? Didn't he want to know the name? Kinda got what he wanted.
He stomped on the ground, and he stomped so hard that the desert opened up, and it swallowed Ishbi-Benob.
I don't believe that was a part of this story before. I guess Britannica just really loved the ground-eating people.
And that giant was never heard from again.
Well, unless he got reception at the center of the earth, I suppose it would be hard to keep correspondence up with him.
It's a good thing the story turned out this way, because if David didn't overhear the name of God, then he and his wife would never have had a baby boy, and that boy would never have grown up to be wise King Solomon.
And then he wouldn't have been able to lock his daughter up in a tower so she didn't marry someone who wasn't rich enough.
Do I believe in secrets?
I'm pretty sure secrets aren't a thing that requires faith in them, Pat.
Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a secret anymore.
Well, you must believe in secrets if you're keeping it a secret. Do I believe in nonsense? Well, if I told you...
I don't like this movie, doesn't look too friendly. This bootleg is so fake, that toy is gonna break. Phelous, don't let me down, you need to be around. Grab that chocolate pizza, I even like it cause I want. Phelous, so Phelous, bring on Morita comedy. Phelous, so Phelous, an animation movie. Phelous, so Phelous, what really is so fun? Phelous, so Phelous, what's your opinion about?
At least we all know the secret of becoming a saint now. Tricking someone into doing your labor for you and then killing them.